Man City 2-0 Wolves stats. Marmoush and Semenyo get City back to winning ways. Manchester City put a week to forget behind them with a 2-0 win over Wolves at the Etihad Stadium, despite Pep Guardiola's starting talismanic striker Erling Haaland on the bench. Following a derby defeat to Manchester United and a shock Champions League loss at Bodø/Glimt in the last 8 days, Pep Guardiola's men got back to winning ways in the Premier League thanks to goals from Omar Marmoush and Antoine Semenyo on Saturday. The victory takes City to within 4 points of leaders Arsenal ahead of the Gunners' game with United on Sunday. Pep Guardiola made 6 changes to the team that were well beaten by Manchester United in the derby last weekend, including the surprise decision to leave Haaland and Phil Foden on the bench. Marc Guéhi was among those named in the starting 11, with the former Crystal Palace defender making his City debut after joining from the Eagles last week. Despite their top scorer being sat on the bench, it didn't take City long to go ahead. Marmoush nipped in ahead of Mascara to get on the end of a cross from former Wolves man Matheus Nunes in just a 6-minute and prod home. It was the Egyptian's first Premier League goal of the season in his first league game since returning from the Africa Cup of Nations. All 8 of Marmoush's Premier League goals have been scored at the Etihad Stadium, the most goals by any player in the competition's history, with 100% coming at the same ground. The visitors only completed 1 pass in the City final third in the opening half an hour, but it led to a chance for talented teenager Matheus Main. But his shot from distance went well over the bar. Marmoush almost had a second after hitting the post following a long ball from Abdulkadir Kuzanov. But City won a penalty after the ball hit Mascara on the arm as the Egyptian forward tried to cut back inside. However, despite being sent to monitor by VAR there in England, referee Farai Hallam announced to the disgruntled home crowd that he was sticking with his on-field decision that the Wolves' defender's arm was in a natural position. The host did have her second goal just before halftime, though, with Bernardo Silva feeding Semenyo, who cut inside onto his left foot and finished sublimely low to Jose Sauce right for his first Premier League goal for City after his move from Bournemouth earlier this month. The Ghana international has already scored in 3 different competitions for City in his first 3 games: FA Cup, EFL Cup, and Premier League. City seemed to slow the tempo in the second half, and Wolves began to see some of the ball in the host's half. João Gomez hit a free kick just over, while Mascara almost headed in from a corner only for the ball to hit Gianluigi Donnarumma on his left hand, much to the relief of the Italian goalkeeper after he failed to punch the ball away with his right. Foden replaced Johnny Reinders on the hour mark as Guardiola looked to take the game further away from their opponents, but it was still Wolves who looked the likelier to get the 3rd goal of the game. Haaland was then brought on along with Jeremy Doku, but it was Semenyo who almost made it 3, striking the post with another left-footed effort in the 77th minute. Mascara hit the bar with a flicked header from a corner with 4 minutes remaining, but City were ultimately relatively comfortable as they sealed the 3 points before their huge final Champions League phase clash with Galatasaray on Wednesday. Our Opta Match Center delivers you all the Man City versus Wolves stats from their Premier League meeting at the Etihad Stadium on January 24th, 2026. The Match Center below includes team and player stats, expected goals data, passing networks, an Opta chalkboard, and more. It gives you everything you need to do your own match analysis. Underneath the Match Center, you can find the official Opta stats on the game as well.